like...
I thought you were talking about Nintendo cartridges.
Yeah, that's true. You do have to blow on them sometimes. Blow on the tapes, right? I used to call them tapes.
Like the extra, the hawking. I don't think you need to use phlegm as lubricant.
No, spit works just fine.
We're Generation X, laughing at the world today. We're getting older, but we're still gonna play all day. Radio Labyrinth, our minds are a maze, navigating through the chaos of these modern days. Lost in the Radio Labyrinth.
Hey, don't forget, you can watch our Patreon-only show if you are so inclined. We'll tell you about that at the end of the show. But about last week, actually about 2 weeks ago, we spoke with the purveyor of Sublime Donuts, and we all pitched our own AI donuts to him. He was recently on, what was the name of that show, Steph? I forget.
Gordon Ramsay's Food Stars. Kamal Grant.
Yes, Kamal Grant. We had a great time talking to him on the show, and we all pitched him our donuts, and Jeff's got made, and I want to hear about this. Well, first, Steph, you found out about it, right? How did you find out about it?
He posted it on the Sublime IG.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was like, holy crap, Jeff, they made your donut.
That's awesome. So tell us about the donut, Jeff. How many did you eat? Because you didn't share them.
Yeah, I got 5. I've eaten 3 of them so far.
Nice.
They're awesome.
They look delicious. Are they stuffed with peanut butter?
Yeah, they have peanut butter on the inside and bacon.
Right.
Inside, and then it's a yeast donut. And it's got a peanut butter topping with chocolate chips and more bacon and banana chips.
Nice. Is that what you had in mind when you created this donut in your mind?
Well, in my mind, maybe it would have been fresh bananas, but I don't think you can leave fresh bananas sitting in a donut case all day.
No, they'll turn brown.
Yeah.
Are they going to make all of ours, or is Jeff's the one that tested the best?
He said that he was going to make them all. He's going to leave this one on the menu for a week or two.
Yeah.
Like a limited time deal. And then, I don't know, maybe they'll roll out your caramel corn cannoli.
Nah, mine was all the stuff I like to eat except for French fries. Thanks, Jeff, and congratulations. You got your donut made. Maybe they'll do a TV show based on this, huh? Wouldn't that be cool? And then we could all be on TV with our donuts.
I would love that. Yeah.
So surreal. I never thought I'd be back here. So many memories. You know, I used to call this the bad room. You know, I really do want to share with you why I called this the bad room. Oh, no.
Everybody watched the latest episode of The Boys, episode 4, which I'm calling Dry Jacking.
You're not calling it Fudgy the Whale?
No, the Fudgy the Whale had me feeling nostalgic and hungry. You know, Fudgy the Whale is a great Carvel cake, but no. Episode 4 of The Boys has me questioning whether or not I'm going to continue watching The Boys, because they are really, I thought they were going to wrap up the social commentary or the current issue stuff, but immediately they go to abortion.
6 months ago, Starlight visited a clinic. She wasn't going for a checkup.
What the f***?
And I'm like, what the f***? I don't even remember her having an abortion. Did Starlight, was that a part of the show last season? Because I don't remember it.
I don't remember it either. I thought maybe they just wrote it in.
Yeah, and it's funny that Huey's dad is like a super Trump supporter. When you see him on Piers Morgan, he might be an asshole, but he's my asshole. I know The Boys has always been that way.
Oh,
but
Huey's real dad, you mean?
Yeah, Huey's real dad.
I thought you were talking about Simon Pegg for a second.
No, Simon Pegg I'm not talking about. And we're not going to do any spoilers. And in fact, that's probably all it. But I don't want that. I love the show. I love the humor, and I still do, and I'm not going to stop watching it, but it's really heavy-handed with that stuff. Am I wrong?
I don't think it's as heavy-handed as you make it out to be. I think it's just coincidentally the world's at a fever pitch, and that's where we're at.
Maybe, yeah, because I get caught up in that online world of people fighting about things. Without spoiling it, though, I did love what Starlighter did to Firecracker. So if you haven't seen it yet, that was a very enjoyable scene. I really liked that scene a lot. I was rooting for Firecracker. I mean, for Starlighter.
I kind of agree with you, Tim, as far as like, you know how I am about social topics. I hate them. But I feel like they kind of balance it out with just how over the top Homelander is in this episode. My God.
That had me on the edge of my seat.
Oh, wow. I mean, he's scary. He really is scary.
Tim, I'm going to need you to take down your pants right now.
Yeah. The dry jacking. That was
I love how he tried to spit in his hand, but he didn't have any spit.
Tuah.
Tuah. We'll get to her later.
And what's going on with Butcher? His powers aren't gone?
No,
He
I
must
think they're just
have a snake in his body.
Yeah.
gestating. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Butcher's not going to die.
Fucking hell.
That's my weekly show that I'm watching. That and House of the Dragons, which I thought was a good episode, but we don't need to dive into that. I'm really getting past the Acolyte hate. I think it's behind me now. And if you're interested in talking about the Acolyte or hearing somebody who doesn't like the Acolyte, you should check out Snarky J on YouTube for the content. Anybody check her out?
No.
Yeah, Jeff, you'll like it. She really knows how to break down a show.
Yeah.
In cosplay.
I'm assuming there are boobs involved.
Ooh, she looks snarky.
Yeah, she's very snarky. Snarky with a C cup. Anyway, all I want to say about the Acolyte, and I know that you guys like it, the Acolyte, if you are tired of all the people fighting about shit, just go check out Red Letter Media's latest video where they give the best measured, politics-free breakdown of the new Star Wars. In fact, they cover an awful lot about the people who, like George Lucas and the directors of the 70s and that type of thing, what influenced them, and that you can see in the actual movie Star Wars, and what people care about now. And you can find all of that in the current Star Wars stuff on TV, and you can find it in a lot of the Star Trek content that's being released. And it's just what young people or the people who are making and writing these shows cares about now. I don't care about what they care about. So, if you had made it in the late 80s and early 90s, there'd be stuff in there.
If William Devane isn't in it, Tim doesn't give fuck one.
Hey, I wasn't in any of the Star Wars. But other than that, Mike and Rich, those guys have really good, they're very humorous, and Mike is really measured in his criticism of things. They're not over the top. They're not like the takedown video guys like Critical Drinker, who I can take. Nerdrotic goes a little over the top. Doomcock, I don't even know if that's still around, but I can't watch that because it's a guy in a mask shitting on everything. And those are the real go-to takedown shows. So anyway, I do have to point out one thing. X is diving into and X, by the way, is what Twitter used to be called, or is what Twitter is called now. There is a sitcom, an animated sitcom. It's called The New Norm Show. And I was offended by it for a reason that some people might not be offended by it. But when you look at the set, the living room set of the house that this family lives in, it is the All in the Family set from 704 Hauser Street, where the Bunkers lived. The dad sort of resembles Archie Bunker. But it is like the flip side of the Acolyte. I don't know if you guys watched the mini pilot or the clip or whatever, but you have Larry Elder, who's a radio host and former candidate for governor of California, Rubin Report, which is Dave Rubin, and a couple of these other people. It's going to be on X, so X is stepping into the content. Watch this TV show on there, but it is filled with it's terrible. It's terrible. Did you guys watch any of it?
I did not.
No.
Oh,
No.
okay. Don't.
Okay, won't.
Well, that's what I took from your text.
Yeah.
Was like, this sucks. I was like,
It is cringiest thing that I have ever watched. And I'm not even kidding. I've watched a lot. I've seen Two Girls, One Cup multiple times.
That's beyond cringe. That's
There are going to be people who watch it simply because they think it aligns with their political ideology. And there are going to be people who hate it because it goes against their political ideology. as an example of that, how crazy people are and how social media has wrecked us. Dweezil Zappa, who is Frank's son, he's getting ready for his tour, and he has a fun Instagram feed. He was doing a workout with an old leg stretcher machine while playing guitar. He was wearing a shirt that said, "Don't tread on me," and it had a Gadsden flag on it. And every other comment was, "I can't listen to you anymore if you're going to wear that shirt." And it's just lunacy, absolute lunacy that people.
Yeah, well, you know, we had somebody today. She tried to text out for tomorrow, and yeah, my boss called her, and I was like, "No, you can't text out. You actually have to call." And then she said, "I'm going to resign." And my boss said, "Okay." And she turned off her key and shut her email off, and that was it.
How old is this person?
Like 22.
And they just quit.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, just because my boss wanted her to call in to call off.
Now I can text in because I can just text two people and go, "Hey, I'm not going to be in today."
Oh, well, so can I. I've been there for 500 years. But, I mean, these are like new people and blah, blah, blah. And they all have that whole, and I will still even say, "Do you need me to call?" I'll even ask. So it's just like oh, Jesus Christ, I got to call. I quit.
I can't handle talking to somebody on the phone. Oh, my God. She needs to get herself to Nashville and go viral. Like this girl. What is her name? I thought about
that's a good way to get yourself fired.
Haley didn't get fired, though. That was everything that you've seen about her in the news up until today has been made up. This Haley Welch girl who went viral about a week ago and is now completely taken over everything. She's the Tuah Girl. Tuah, spin on that thing. Get me?
What's one move in bed that makes a man go crazy every time?
You gotta give him that Tuah and spit on that thing. You get me?
I don't know the background of it, but she's an interesting person. And this thing went absolutely crazy. Everybody in media talking about it. Howard Stern talking about it. And he made a good point.
And then as a dad myself of 3 girls, like that's every father's worst nightmare to see her on Instagram going, "Yeah, you got to on that fucking thing."
Did you see my daughter on Instagram?
Yeah, my kid is Insta famous. She's the Tuah Girl.
Could you imagine having a daughter who's 22 or 23 years old walking around? Well, I don't know how old she is, but walking around in Nashville at random, gets picked to be on a video, and she's talking about giving nasty head.
Tuah, spit on it.
I thought she was talking about Nintendo cartridges.
Yeah, that's true. You do have to blow on them sometimes. Blow on the tapes, right? I used to call them tapes.
Like the extra, the hawking. I mean, the tuh is, I mean, a little bit more acceptable, but the hawking?
I like the tuh. I don't need the hawk.
I don't think you need to use phlegm as lubricant.
No. Spit works just fine. And then, it went from Stern all over the place. Everybody's talking about it. And then Joe Rogan, who posted the story about Rogan? What did he have to say about it? Because I haven't watched it.
He's just shocked it blew up so fast, so big, so fast.
Yeah.
Because everybody on Earth was talking about it.
Right. Even Kim Jong-un was watching it on his phone. I think it's astroturfed, right? Somebody saw it, and then some algorithm picked it up. Where did it first go viral? Was it on YouTube or TikTok? Does anyone know?
It was probably TikTok because what she was answering, that's a whole region on TikTok is where you get guys with a recorder, and you get in an area where you got bars and people moving, and you ask drunk people questions, and there's tons of those videos out there of that, and just because they'll say something, it's kind of like the modern.
Girls Gone Wild.
Yeah, it's kind of like a modern Girls Gone Wild.
Okay. And then she's just like trashed. And then if you watch the whole video, which has now been released, she's like talking about her friend's ass and stuff like that. But smart thing for Haley Welch is she's made a deal with, Fathead? And now she's selling merch. Because could you imagine if you did a video and then everyone on Earth knew your name, or at least saw your video, or that you like to hawk loogies onto penises? You get me? If everybody on Earth knew that, and you're not getting a dime for that, I think Rogan pointed that out too. I mean, and he to his point, he's talking about he can't believe how fast it went around the world. Well, that's why I think what TikTok does with their algorithms is one person will say, or one of their mods will say, all right, we're going to push this out into the world. Because that explains people who have no one liking their videos like me will all of a sudden get 1 million views on one thing. Somebody had to push that out into the world to see. It doesn't just happen organically. And I don't think this happened organically either. Same thing with the chick on the airplane who, Tiffany Gomes or whatever her name is, who's saw that motherfucker. Yeah. I mean, and look at her now. Nobody cares. Nobody cares about her. Of course, she's in her late 30s or whatever, early 40s. So, she was around for a couple of weeks for being nuts. This girl, I think, will have some legs.
I would be concerned about the messages and whatnot she'd be getting from some people.
Yeah, you don't think she's probably got 1 million of them by now. Oh, you're going to on my dick.
Well, and if they know where she lives or any of that stuff.
Right. Yeah, well, what about her dad? What about her grandpa? She's young enough where her grandpa's probably still alive.
You guys think her dad's really around?
Oh, Jeff. Jeff. My dad wasn't around, but I didn't hawk to.
Oh, you hawk to every day.
I've done the two, but never the hawk to. So I bet you she'll go on Rogan. That would be a good get for him. He's not going to be able to get Julian Assange, who's now in Australia and about to be interviewed by Tucker Carlson, who, as soon as he found out, was on a plane. I think Joe Rogan needs to reach out and get young Haley Welch on his show, because he had that redheaded singer, the one that I fell for, thinking that was organic too when it wasn't.
Oh, well, I mean, look at the content. You can at least talk about that song. What are you going to do, a 3-hour Rogan on Haktu?
Yeah.
I'm sure she has a fascinating backstory, and she probably knows a lot about Bigfoot and bears and DMT and aliens and ancient civilizations.
She's got a lot of feelings on the moon landing.
I think so too, yeah. What do you think they did when they got to the moon? I figured we had to talk about her, though. We'll put her in the artwork, and maybe our numbers will go back.
But put Joe Rogan in there, too, so we get some more views.
Yeah, make it look like they're interviewing each other, and we exclusively have that.
Make it look like she's hawk-tooing on Joe Rogan's.
All right. So we live in Atlanta, Georgia, or Atlanta adjacent, the four of us. None of us. Jeff, you're the only one that has an Atlanta address, right?
Yeah.
This week, our roads are going to be jammed up because 2 douchebags are coming here to debate each other. And 2 old men are going to fight each other, in a ring. And I thought it would be fun if...
Mike Tyson and Jake Paul?
Yes, they are. I thought it would be fun, and if you guys want to do this, we'll do it. If you don't want to do it, we won't do it. But I'm going to play the role of the 2 men who are running for president currently, and maybe a visit from the third guy who's not invited, if you had any questions you wanted to ask in like a debate format. So why don't we do that? So this is the debate between President Joe Biden and former president and convicted felon Donald Trump. Our moderator for today's debate on CNN Radio Labyrinth is Steph Swain.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. I'd like to welcome both our current president, Mr. Joseph Biden.
Thanks for that.
As well as our former president, Donald Trump.
How's it going? I am so happy to be here. Steph, you look lovely as usual. You're a lot better than Dana Bash. I hope it sounds enough like Trump for people to find it amusing, but if not, I don't care. My hands back and forth as I do it because that is the key to being able to capture a little bit of his voice. Sometimes
tiny hands.
The hands are fine, Jeff. They're beautiful hands. Perfect size for a current or an ex-president. So happy to be here. And Jake Tapper, go fuck yourself.
Well, we've already kind of brought this up here, but my first question is for President Biden.
Okay.
As we talked about the Mike Tyson and Jake Paul fight, it has been furloughed once more. And I would like to know, who do you think would win in a boxing match between you and former President Donald Trump?
Well, a lot of people tell me back in the day I was quite a boxer. Not only was I a flanker back for a football team. Now, look, he's the kind of guy, Donald Trump's the kind of guy you take out a woodshed and you beat on him. You take Donald Trump out there and you start punching him. Then you get him in a leg lock, and because he's top-sided, he's topsy-turvy, and you wrap your legs around him. You give him the old Delaware dink right in the ding-dang. Come on, that's what I'm going to do.
How many rounds do you think you could go?
I'd take about 5 or 6 3-minute rounds. I'd take him downtown, give him the Delaware dink. Don't jump.
Donald, former President Trump, would you like to respond?
Well, I mean, look, the guy can't even walk. He was over at the NATO summit or the G7 or whatever it is. I've been to that. It's a lovely thing. They love me a lot over there. And so Joe Biden, I mean, he's sleepy. He's looking at a paratrooper over here. I mean, if he and I were ever to get into fisticuffs, I think that I would be able to handle him. I mean, he's frail. I wouldn't fight an old man. I mean, if he had a weapon, maybe like shillelagh or something he could hit me with, or a stick. I think Joe Biden would probably be able to use like a riding crop. But I mean, look, that's not going to hurt anybody. I could probably blow on him and he'd fall over.
Wow. Well, that is it's horrible. I'm sorry. Former President Trump. I would like to know, there's been quite a debate online recently, and I think everybody wants to know, are you Team Kendrick or Team Drake?
Well, it's really important for me to get the African-American vote, so I like both of them, but I really got to go with Drake. And let me tell you why, because Drake's clean cut. He likes the ladies like I do, a little bit younger than he is, a little bit young. Look, it's okay as long as they're legal. Like, if I'm not texting 11 from Stranger Things. But on the other hand, I kind of like Kendrick. Kendrick speaks from his heart, right? He's not just writing these silly songs. Kendrick speaks from the heart. He's really street. He's probably seen that mugshot of me where, because I was arrested by Fonnie Willis, corrupt Fonnie Willis, that I think that I'm probably, a lot of people of that type of person are going to vote for me, criminals, felons, or rappers. I think they like me a lot. I really do. I think if I hadn't been arrested, I think that maybe not doing so well with them. But what they tell me that people like him are really into people like me who've been arrested and jailed.
Okay, well, thank you. I only have a couple more questions. My next question is for President Biden. President Biden, when was the last time that Jill on your old schlong?
Dr. Jill invented Tuah. She used to babysit the kids, and she'd come over and she'd say, "Hey, you want the Tuah?" I say, "Yeah." And then Corn Pop came over and she gave him the Tuah.
He was a bad dude.
Look, Corn Pop was a bad dude, but he was a gentle lover. Anytime that Dr. Jill gave him the Tuah, she'd give him the Tuah right in the toe. Anyway.
Okay. Well, thank you very much. My last question is for...
The Tuah is a little overblown. I think it's... okay, anyway, sorry. All right, Jake, I'm sorry. Don't get up here. Okay, go ahead.
I was just going to say, my last question is for both candidates. What advice could you give to the children of boomer parents who are frustrated that their parents are still alive?
Could you repeat that, please? I was reading a text from Terry, one of our Radio Labyrinth fans. She sent me a meme with all the Tuah girls on it, so it's very relevant to what we're discussing. Go ahead.
Sure. I was going to say, I was asking both candidates if you had any advice for the children of boomer parents who are frustrated that they are still alive.
Well, I mean, I'm a boomer, so and I have Gen X children. I also have a Gen Z child. I'm sure you've seen him. He's barren. You can't miss him. He's 28 feet tall. I think his mom is original. Well, I think he's Anunnaki. Okay. I think Melania's family is Anunnaki. And, they were anywhere from 12 to 15 feet tall. And I think that he might get that tall. But listen, if you're worried about your parents who are boomers, remember that they went through that with the greatest generation, the World War II people who... I don't know what they did. They went through the Depression. I never had that problem. My father didn't go through the Depression because he was also wealthy. I think just give it time. Give it time. If you elect Joe Biden, they'll die quickly. If you elect me, we'll do our best, to keep them alive. We'll cut their taxes and stuff like that. But really, if you vote for Joe Biden, who's the ultimate boomer, and, well, I don't want to say too much other than he's a formidable foe. Hope that answered your question.
Well, kind of. It just made me for sure that I was going to vote for Biden.
I got your vote. I got your vote. Hey, look, seniors are some of the best people out here. God, I know a lot of people in their 70s. Young people, I call them. And that's terrible Joe Biden saying goodbye.
I just want to say that I would probably not do anything that they just said. And I would just, let you do what you want to do and not bug you too much. That's all I'm saying.
That's why we'll never have you.
Right.
All right, Dustin, I hope you did a good job editing that, because there was some...
News, trailers, and trends with Steph.
I guess you guys may have saw, well, you were speaking about it earlier, is that all the major record labels have banded together and they are suing all these AI music generators, alleging that they are ripping off their original recordings.
Yeah, that sucks, because I'm having so much fun with this Suno.com, where you can make songs like we've used here, and a couple of them that I've made on the radio, and a couple of them that can't ever see the light of day because they're just far too dirty and are apropos to nothing. Like the one I did about some creep who runs around town masturbating. Did I send that to you guys? I'm not going to post it anyway.
I don't think so. Moving right along then. I don't know why, but they're talking about making another St. Elmo's Fire movie with all of the original cast members, but they're just old now. So I don't know if it could be like St. Elmo's Ashes or something.
Shit.
Be like 60-something.
Yeah, we already have, what was that boomer movie that everybody loved that kicked off the 80s where Kevin Costner's in it, but he's in a coffin?
The Big Chill.
The Big Chill.
Oh. Yeah. But these people are all way older than the Big Chill people were in the 80s. Nobody needs to see St. Elmo's Fire. It's the worst of the Brat Pack movies anyway, I think. They have two horrible songs. The love theme, which was our prom theme. I think every prom in the 80s had that fucking song. That John Carr, gonna be Man in Motion.
That was your prom theme, Man in Motion?
The love theme, the instrumental.
Oh God.
Yeah. Terrible.
Oh Jesus. That's like something to die from cancer too.
I'd like to see, yes, thanks. I'd rather see 16 Candles and have John Cusack in it. Where he's just a surly guy that bitches and yells at people on Twitter. Fuck you, Republican cocksucker. No, I don't want that. The Breakfast Club would be the one to do. We've talked about this before. Have them all grown up, have them married, divorced, whatever. Have their kids at that school.
Oh, I thought you were going to do the Supper Club.
Well, the Supper Club. I don't.
Bender's the janitor now.
Yes, that would be. Well. I don't know, man. I guess it's smart to do this on the heels of that Brat Pack thing that Andrew McCarthy did, but I'm just not too interested in it. I'm not too interested in it.
I'm not feeling it. What do you think about the Kansas City Chiefs teaming up with the Hallmark Network to make a Christmas movie about the Chiefs? But it's a Hallmark Christmas movie.
Taylor Swift can be in it.
She has not been cast.
Written all over it. I guarantee you she probably started this.
Yes.
She's probably going to have an entire original Christmas album.
I'd rather watch 80 for Brady. How about a Hallmark movie about a guy from Buffalo who ends up going to the Gulf War, and he comes back just hoping that the Bills can beat the Redskins, and they don't, but he ends up falling in love and opening a cookie store with his high school sweetheart. I don't know. I hate Hallmark movies.
It looks like it was starring Jimmy Fallon.
Jimmy Fallon? Yeah. I like Jimmy Fallon. Who doesn't like Jimmy Fallon?
No.
They would have to get in line behind me.
I mean, yeah, I just thought that I'm thinking of another movie that he did, something similar to that.
The Boston movie that they had to
Fever
change.
Pitch.
Yeah.
I think was the name of it.
Those damn Red Sox ended up winning. Who wants this? I hate the Chiefs now. They've turned into the Patriots for me because they always beat the Bills. I don't really hate them though. I can't hate Patrick Mahomes. I like Patrick Mahomes. He's a good quarterback. They're a fun team to watch. Andy Reid is cool. And Patrick
Mahomes sounds like Kenny Powers.
Yeah, he sounds like this kind of. He sounds like Bill Gates. Kind of sounds like Bill Gates
without all the condescension. And also, Andy Reid, as far as I know, isn't banging a 24-year-old.
You talking about Belichick?
Yeah, Bill Belichick has a 24-year-old girlfriend. You haven't seen this story?
No.
Yeah, it's been all over the place this week. There's on Edelman's podcast, he and Gronk are laughing about it. But that's not even the weird thing. This girl's ex-boyfriend is 72. Oh, no, it was 62. So she left a 62-year-old man to go out with Bill Belichick, who's 72.
I assume the 62-year-old had less money, but still had money.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah, you're not going to get a girl who's 24 when you're in your 60s unless you have money.
Belichick has socks older than that chick.
Yeah. Well, we're not going to talk about that. We're going to talk about Tommy. There's a funny meme going around about this, too. It's like there's this cute girl, and she's laying on her back. And then above it is the penguin from Batman Returns going, and it's when Bill Belichick is on top of you.
I just had this horrible vision of him coming out of the bathroom, and he's got on his sweatshirt where the sleeves are cut off.
No sleeveless sweatshirt.
And like nothing on below the waist.
Oh. There's Winnie the Pooh in it.
Yeah. Haven't you ever seen that video of him leaving a house? Like he just banged some young lady and he's doing the walk of shame and he opens the screen door into the cool Boston air and he has no shirt on and he looks shit-faced. Have you guys seen that video?
No.
If you can find it, Dustin, drop it in here. It's great.
Well, sadly, one of our favorite actors, I would say, on this podcast for sure, Donald Sutherland, passed away at the ripe old age of 88.
Mm-hmm.
Which favorite Sutherland flick?
There's too many. I thought I'd put it in there.
When he died, I watched Max Dugan Returns again.
Max Dugan Returns is such a fun movie. I
was realizing that Matthew Broderick is now older than Jason Robards was in that movie. So if they remade it, he could play the old guy.
Oh my God!
Now that's one they should do.
Yeah,
they could redo Max Dugan Returns. Let's see. Invasion of the Body Snatchers is a good movie.
Yeah.
And the ending is great. Won't spoil it if you've never seen it. I love him as the professor who smokes pot in Animal House. When Tom Hulce asks him, "This won't make me schizo, will it?"
I won't go schizo, will I?
There's a distinct possibility.
But he's in MASH, Clute, JFK, where he plays the shady guy on the bench in Washington, D.C., giving Kevin Costner all the deets. And then the thing people would know him for today? Young people would know him from the Hunger Games, right?
Yeah.
And he was in that limited series Trust on FX a couple of years ago. That was really good.
Yeah. Well, rest in peace, Donald Sutherland, because he left a good legacy. And also, I think Kiefer's a fine actor as well.
He truly is.
Kiefer's in Max Dugan Returns, by the way. I didn't know that at the time.
Probably doesn't have a speaking role, does he?
No. But when the mom and Matthew Broderick pull into the school for the first time and she drops him off, he runs over to a group of kids and Kiefer's one of the kids.
Oh, wow.
Well, skipping on through real quick, did you guys know that The Boys originally was planned as a film trilogy from Adam McKay?
No, but that probably would have been good if Adam McKay made it, right?
Yeah, but they said it was like 2008, and it was before the whole MCU universe.
Right. And Preacher and everything else, yeah.
Rogan and Goldberg, I think that's his name, right? Evan Goldberg.
Yeah.
They had got it back then, and they wanted McKay to do it, and everything was kind of like in place, and then it just fell apart.
Yeah, I'm sure the MCU probably killed it.
But Adam McKay directing that, I mean, I'm picturing like The Big Short /
Well, the thing about the MCU is that it doesn't have a lot of self-replicating daisy chains or pink eye or giant penises that just, weave their way.
I can't see Paul Rudd being Homelander.
No. It would be cool, though. That would be cool. I'm glad that didn't happen, but I think Adam McKay would have done a fine job with it.
I think he would have, too. And I know you guys are jacked about Bob Odenkirk's Nobody 2.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
It has moved forward. There's a new director, this Timo Tayahanto, I think is his name. And he did that one movie, The Night Comes for Us. Yep. It's a badass martial arts. I freaking love that movie. So I'm really hyped. I don't think it's going to miss a step. It'll probably be just as good as the last one.
Awesome.
And lastly, Netflix's One Piece season 2. They've added more characters. I don't know any of these people. You guys know this One Piece.
You got to watch the animation. Right? But the animation is like 10,000 episodes, literally.
I just can't make that commitment. It's just so much. I mean, I would love to, but they've cast like 4 more of the main characters that everybody loves, so that'll be in season 2. I don't know when this is going to be out, but they got what's his face, David Dastmalchian, the guy that we love from Late Night with the Devil, and he's going to be playing the role of Mr. 3.
All right, cool.
So it should be pretty good. Anyway, that's all my news.
Thank you, Steph. In the podcast verse, I think we all had a couple things that we watched. Harlan Williams has been a lot of podcasts lately, and he's kind of, to me, replaced. He's not replaced, but he's like the elder statesman, the new Norm Macdonald, and their comedy isn't even related or the same. But I get that feeling that he's well respected now, like Norm was, and that everybody will have him on, and he does a good job. So I'll watch any podcast with him in it. But the one that I really enjoyed the most was Corey Feldman on Howie Mandel does stuff. And what I liked about it is Howie wasn't condescending or an asshole to him. Did you guys watch that one?
No. Did he finally name names?
No, he's never going to. No, I'm never going to name names. I will in 22. That's my lucky number, and that's my son. My son's name is Zen. And, I always liked Michael Jackson. And, but he performs 2 songs at the end. And Corey Feldman has had nothing but derision anytime he does singing or any stuff like that. But you know what I think? I think that the whole gag is that he's delusional or something. I don't think he's delusional at all. I think it's an act. I think it's a put on. And that's a way for him to stay culturally relevant and continue to make money. So that's my thought on him. And let's see. We already talked about Rogan. I do think he needs to have the Tuah Girl on. Got to have her on, Joe. I know you're not watching, but get her on. And who watched We Might Be Drunk with Sam Morrill and Mark Norman?
I did.
Was it...
It was good. Do you guys ever watch that podcast?
Every now and then.
Yeah, I think I may have watched it once or twice.
I don't mind Sam Morrell too much. Mark Norman can be a little too much. He's like turned to 11 all the time.
Right.
But they had Harlan on, and they were mostly talking about, they wanted to go through all the movies. So they were big fans of Harlan's acting. So he tells a bunch of stories, like behind the scenes stuff, shooting Half Baked, and that they shot it in Toronto, where he's from, and the pizza place that he stands in front of feeding the horse was actually a place that he and his friends used to party there every weekend. They would hang out there. So for him to be there shooting a major, motion picture was kind of a big thing for him, and told a lot of cool stories. I liked it more than usual because I think Harlan, like you said, is the elder statesman now. But I think with Norm gone, a lot of comedians are looking to these older comedians now and realizing that they could be gone before they know it. And so they're kind of bringing them back in. And I didn't realize Harlan and Norm were such big friends either. Yeah. He talks about that a little bit.
Yeah, I love it when he tells those stories. I'm sure he has a lot of them, too, that he's never shared, so he'll continue to peel that onion. All right. We did not get a lot of YouTube comments this week. We only got one, and it was from Pat Topo. And Pat Topo says, Tony is dead, so I must have talked about The Sopranos.
I'm pretty sure that's Patrick Topolowski.
Oh, okay, Pat. Well, there you go. Why didn't we get a lot of comments? I don't know. We're back to our old numbers. We need to talk about Rogan every single week, and maybe we'll bring up Red Bar again or something.
Yeah, talk about Bert and Tom.
Yeah, Bert and Tom. Everybody hates Bert and Tom, except we don't hate Bert and Tom, but we'll talk about the people that hate Bert and Tom.
And we'll mention Mr. Beast just for the hell of it.
Mr. Beast. Let's talk about who's that MMA fighter who became a comedian? Brendan Schaub. Everybody, the final fall of Brendan Schaub. It's over for him. Bert continues to sink. These guys are super successful, dude. Nothing's going to happen to them. And we don't hate them, but we're going to mention them to get back into the feed. Anyway, we're going to take a break and come back and do Views and Snooze. Greetings, Radio Labyrinth Podcast listeners. Over there in Conyers, Atlanta Pizza in Euro is heading into summer. You want a cool, refreshing drink, huh? Well, Atlanta Pizza in Euro has over 16 ice-cold local draft beers on tap. 16 of them. William Devane loves a cold beer. I like a nice IPA when I'm playing golf. And you can always find their amazing pizza, gyros, and Greek salad if you're hungry. Stop by Atlanta Pizza in Euro Monday through Friday from 11 to 9 p.m., Saturdays 12 to 9 p.m., closed on Sundays. They also have team trivia on Tuesday nights from 7 to 8:30 p.m. Bring your smartest friends and test your trivia knowledge against the best Conyers has to offer. And since that would be Dustin, you don't really have much of a challenge ahead of you. Just kidding. Hope you... proudly serving the East Metro Atlanta area for over 40 years. Their food truck is also available, so contact Mike at 770-483-6228 for more details. Hey, do you have a commercial or residential construction printing need? Well, what are you waiting for? Contact LDI Repro Printing of Athens. They've been in Athens since 2005 with fast turnaround and affordable prices. Call 706-316-9366 or email them at athens@ldiline.com.
Views.
Or.
And Snooze.
And we're back.
We are back, Jeff. Let's do Views or Snooze.
Yeah, last week was Shorzy, Orphan Black Echoes, and the A&E music biographies. I watched one of the A&E music biographies. I got the other one on my DVR still, and then they're doing more this week. So that's part of Views or Snooze. And I blew through Shorzy in one day, unfortunately.
I was able to do just 2 episodes.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and stopped.
So you stopped? So you didn't see the thing at the end?
No, I know what you said.
It was a very scary thing at the end.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was going to allow myself to watch one episode a day because there's only 6 episodes, but I watched them all in one day.
Nice.
All right, this week, The Bear comes back, season 3.
Definitely Views.
I was watching season 2 last week, thinking that it was season 3.
Really?
And I was like 2 episodes in. I'm like, I feel like I've seen this before.
Jeremy Allen White is one of those guys that they're calling. What are they calling?
Gene Wilder?
Hot rodent boyfriend.
Yeah.
A hot rodent boyfriend, Timothy Chalamet. Or rat-faced, if you watched Tim Dillon last week. And for some reason, it was in my head that Jeremy Allen White was related to Gene Wilder. So why do I feel like...
He just looks like him.
Looks just like him. Especially when Gene Wilder's young. Yeah. You watch that Gene Wilder documentary? My God.
Yes, that was so good.
All right, that's the Views for me. Beverly Hills Cop.
Totally.
F, Netflix, July 3rd.
Yes, I'm watching it.
Must views.
Sure.
Yep. Totally watching that.
And then more A&E biographies. They're doing Sammy Hagar this week and Sebastian Bach.
Where are they streaming those? Do you have to have the A&E app or can you watch them on Hulu?
I don't know. There's probably an A&E app.
Yeah, because it's such a pain in the ass to have to do that on an app if you don't have cable. That's why I haven't watched another episode of Alone yet, because I don't feel like doing the app. But I want to watch those biographies. So
and Alone Australia started last week, and it's much better this season.
Is it? Okay.
They got some really good.
Summertime.
It's gonna get cold where they're at, but it's not right now. But they got a lot of on the first Alone Australia, they had really terrible people, and someone quit after like 3 hours on the last one. But this time they got some really good survivalists who seem like they're gonna last a long time. So I'm into it. It's just as good as the American Alone version. So that's Views News.
Thank you, Jeff. All right, let's blast through our staff picks, shall we? My staff pick this week is Judge Reinhold on the Rich Eisen show, which you can watch on YouTube. I think Rich Eisen does good interviews, and he usually has good guests. It's way more entertaining than Shane Gillis on Hot Ones. And Judge Reinhold tells some great stories. So I would check that out if you're interested in Judge Reinhold, who will be in Beverly Hills Cop Axel F. He's been telling a good story, too, about, you remember in the late 80s, they made all these movies where the dad and the son would swap?
Yeah.
Mom, they would take,
Fred Savage, right?
Fred Savage was in the one with Judge Reinhold, and then there was one with Kirk Cameron and Dudley Moore. Jeff and I saw both of them. But he talks about why that movie failed, and it kind of put his career on hold, except for doing TV and stuff like that. But good interview.
Mine are these Ritz. It's a food. Ritz toasted chips. They're really good. All of them are good, but the sweet habanero ones are the best out of all of them.
Yeah, those are good.
So fucking good.
Mine is... do you guys watch or listen to Paul Giamatti's podcast, Chinwag?
I've listened to a couple of them.
I wanted to thank William Trivelpiece, one of the radios. He had mentioned it on the Radio Shack, and so I went and discovered it because I hadn't heard any of them before, and it was with Bill Hader.
Yeah,
great podcast. I mean, those guys really. I like the. They've only got about 60 or 70 podcasts right now. Their YouTube page is like under 6,000, so it's like really just getting going. And some of the stuff they talk about is really cool. Paul Giamatti's got like a really cool look on things, and I guess a lot of actors do. But I like the way that he's very open to just about anything, and wants to.
He's
talk
an
about
interesting dude.
Yeah.
I like listening to him. Yeah.
I'm going to follow Jeff, and I'm going to say that my pick is the fruit tart from Publix. You can't just buy it. You got to order it ahead of time. The fruit tart.
Okay.
I had it for my father-in-law over the weekend, and it's a shortbread pastry crust with different filling, like a custard filling, and then it's covered in fresh fruits. It's perfect for the summer. So
is that thing that's got the kiwis on top of it and stuff?
No, you're thinking of that cake.
Yeah.
No, this has like strawberries and blueberries on top of it. Yeah. And the crust is like, it's so freaking good, you guys. But they don't just sell it. You have to order it ahead, like a 24 hours advance.
Mm-hmm.
So
that's okay.
If you got they do a 4th of July one, it looks like a freaking flag.
Nice.
What's it called again? The Publix what?
Fruit tart. A fruit tart.
Fruit tart. Okay then.
Amazing.
Fruit tart.
I would like that one especially. All right. Thank you for your staff picks. Time to do some plugs. You can check out my weekly audio only podcast. It usually lasts between 20 to 30 minutes in the Radio Labyrinth podcast feed. It's called Trambles. And I do a little AI here and there, talk about my life, talk about some things I'm doing. Watching The Amazing Spider-Man from 1977 and sharing what I thought about that. I enjoyed it. I also do a radio show every Saturday on WSB Radio in Atlanta. It is called The Popcast. It's on from 7 to 8 p.m. If you live in the city, 95.5 FM, 750 AM, or anywhere on their app, the WSB Radio app, or it's a podcast the following Monday. My most recent guest, which you can find in the podcast feed, is Alan Parsons from the Alan Parsons Project. And then coming up this week is author Scott A. Young, who has a new book out called Selfies. It's the first in a trilogy, science fiction future show, book, and I'm working on that audiobook for that too. And also, if you're interested in giving somebody a gift, one of those cameos, you can go to my Cameo. The link is right here. And I'll do myself or a voice, and I got a lot of good reviews, and just let me know, and I'll be happy to do it for you. Let's talk about our Patreon show. Every week we're doing a Patreon show, and this week we started our brand new feature where we all talk about videos that give us joy. Anywhere from 1 minute to 3 minutes, a go-to if you're in a bad mood or if you just want to laugh, your go-to feel-good video. And we all have our own, and you can check that out by becoming a Patreon member. And actually, if you are a Patreon member and you watch that video, you can comment and, send us your ideas for the ones that make you happy, and we'll play them and talk about them. So that's a fun idea. Go to patreon.com/Tim Andrews to find out more and find out how you can be a part of that program. We had a lot of fun this week with ours. Steph had a clip from Rad, that BMX movie from, when was it, the 80s or the 90s?
It was the 80s. 85, I think. Or maybe 84 even. Wow.
Yeah, it does have an 80s feel. They reuse V costumes in this, but we all have them, and we hope you'll enjoy them. So you can be at any level of our Patreon, $1 all the way up to however much you want to give. Speaking of the top tier, which is the $25 level, which makes you a producer, we have a brand new producer, John Allen, and I want to thank him very much. He just went and saw Jimmy Dore up in Athens, comedian Jimmy Dore. But John Allen, thank you very much, $25, and that gets him a T-shirt from our T-shirt store and also a doodle from me. Thanking our other producers, Tim Slayton, Brian and Chelsea Smith, Jeff Peterson, Jim Fortner, Terry Fuller, Chris Chandler, Roby Neely, Mike D, and Matt Carter. Thank you guys very, very, very much. We appreciate it, and we're glad that you're our producers. If you're watching the show on YouTube, please remember to like and subscribe. Turn on that alert button. Do all the stuff that everybody tells you to do. Leave a comment. We want to read your comments, whether you like it or not. Leave something funny, whatever. We're going to talk about you and read your funny comments. And we are only 16 subscribers away from having 1,000 subscribers, and we would love it if you would do that. Subscribe. Even if you're listening on the audio feed, just go to YouTube, log in, subscribe, and then you can go back to listening to the audio feed. But Dustin does a kick-ass job putting this show together with all the clips and all the fun stuff and editing out all of my rambling. So
let's give a T-shirt to our 1,000th subscriber.
Let's do that. Yeah, we will give a T-shirt to our 1,000th subscriber. Good job. Good idea. I'm sorry, Jeff.
Yeah.
Good idea. And that's all I got this week, unless I forgot anything. All right, we'll talk to you next time on Radio Labyrinth. In the meantime, thank you for listening, and remember to
keep it
and hawk two on that thing.
Well, they say all good things come to an end.
What's that got to do with this show?